All right, so I'm going to be talking about I'm going to be doing another comic review, another book sent to me by my friend Chris. Chris, thank you once again. And we're going to be talking about Thundercats, Chetara. This is the part of the new Dynamite comic era of Thundercats. I do have the first volume. I did a review of that a while back, Omens. Volume 2 hasn't come out yet, which I'm excited. I am excited for the second volume, which is apparently called Volume 2 is going to be called Roar. Thundercats Roar. I'm sure that doesn't have any connection to any bad connotations. Anyway, so Thundercats Chetara has an interesting premise, but but I don't know if it executes that premise well. So basically, the story is that we focus on Chetara, and that's really cool. Chetara is a badass. We're not here to dispute that. The comic is also about the heyday of Thundera, basically before the end of Thundera happened, and how they basically describe in the book. It's like these are supposed to be the last days of Thundera, leading to the era of Thundercats we see now. At least that's what what they try to bill it as. The comic is written by, I'm forgetting let me look up the artist's name real fast. Why do I forget it? Sue Lee. And artists by Domenico Carbone with Giona Zafiro. Oh, man. I am so sorry I butchered all of those names. But anyway, so the comic is basically supposed to be like the golden age of Thundera. And it focuses on some stuff that was kind of left out in the volume 1 of Delkin Shavely's Thundercats. And it's all told through a young Chetara, who is learning from Jaga. You know, basically is Jaga's student and all of that, learning about her psychic abilities or telling the future, things like that. We also get basically that Cloudus has left this era of Thundercats to take care of Lino because he's too weak to both be a king and a father. And I'm like, that feels a little not like Cloudus from the show and whatever continuity we've seen, but whatever. So in theory, it's a cool idea of Chetara seeing visions of an era gone, of the era of Thundera gone. And I wish I could tell you I like this book. Chris really spoke high praise of it, and I was really excited for it. But guys, I'm going to be straight up with all of you, and I'm going to be straight up just honest. This wasn't good. Maybe it's just me, I just didn't like it. Because basically, this book should be called Thundercats, the book where nothing happens. It's a book about nothing. Really, Chetara has bad visions, and we see the encroachment of the mutants, and we think oh, this is the big tragedy that's going to happen, because we do know in the Delkin Shavely books that the mutants did destroy Thundera, and shit went sideways. But that raid was not what was happening. Also, for all the stuff in Shavely's comic of making Slythe more barbarian, more competent leader, here it's we're stepping back with old Slythe. We also get a giant version of Monkian, which is weird because Monkian doesn't appear until later. I don't know if that was supposed to be Monkian, but yeah. Just let me show you. This big giant white ape right here. That guy right there. They don't say it's Monkian, but it looks very much like Monkian, and he's gorilla. He's giant ape size, King Kong size. And the battle gets routed, and this is not the end of Thundera. This was just a mutants raid for Thundrillium. The comic also is a lot of Chetara just being sad and being oh, my visions, but I can't, but no one will believe me. We totally believe you, Chetara. No, you don't believe me. That's the book. And occasionally we see Lion-O as a child, and I will give the book credit that we get to see a Lion-O before the Lion-O we saw, because it really does play into the whole thing of he grew in size but not of man. I like that they actually showcase it. Yeah, there was a time where he was a kid, and I also like that that's how it was with Shavely's book, where it was we showcase that kind of trauma of a boy being turned into a man, and he's still psychologically a child. I do like that. But the book really is more like Chetara just kind of like sitting just basically like moping about for half the book. There is some occasional fighting, but other times it's just dialogue that we've heard all throughout the past 5 issues, where it's like, oh well, you know, this is still going to happen and I feel bad about it. And then Jaga's like, why change? What is inevitable? You can't stop it. And I'm like, so you've just defeated the whole point of the whole book, where it's just like, you know, we try to change our fate and defy it, but no, the planet's still going to die, and the last Thundercat, you're going to be the last Thundercats. Also, another thing with this book, the art is just all over the place. Cloudus, like, they can't get Cloudus's mane right at all. Like, it keeps changing every scene. Like, hell, even in this, like, this panel, you see right here, I'm going to try my best to show it. Like, at the top panel, right there, you see like it has a cut right there where there's where it divides, and then the lower half, it's full beard. Like, they can't get anyone's facial structure right, and like everyone just constantly, their faces look different. The dialogue also is pretty basic, and yes, they are trying to build Tigra and Chetara's relationship, which is cool, but it just feels like it goes in circles. This whole book just is a big circle. And it feels like it was a waste of my time because nothing happens in this book. The fighting also gets cut out a lot. There's not a lot of great action scenes in there. It almost feels like shaky cam. It almost feels like shaky cam for comics, and I can't believe that's a thing I just thought of. But that's exactly what it feels like. All in all, I was just kind of not impressed with this book at all. And it kind of sucks because I wanted to like this so bad. And Chris spoke really highly of it, but I just couldn't get into it. So yeah. Also, like, the facial expressions in a lot of these comics, for some reason, some of the facial expressions look like little dots. Like, they look like when an anime character gets surprised and they, like, or shocked, they have those little dots and flat line for a face when... Like, that kind of... I can't express it, but you know the facial expression I'm talking about? They turn into that. Anyway, if you want to... For continuity's sake, I'd say get it, but it's not... I wouldn't rush to the stores to get it. Anyway, so that's my review for Thundercats Chetara. I was really looking forward to this because I really like Chetara as a character, and a whole miniseries around her, awesome. But we didn't get that here. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below if you like this book. Comment below, let me know. Chris, thank you once again for the comic. Other than that... I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.